All right, everybody, welcome back to the Reese Mobley podcast. Today we're here with Ashley Richmond, who is somebody that I've known for, we were just talking about it, maybe about 2 years now. Um, One of the people I've known like the longest in the like creator game, and we haven't like kept super in contact or super close, but we've always just followed each other and like liked seeing each other in the comments and things like that. So it's been cool to finally connect and like see you grow over this amount of time, and I'm sure you've seen me grow and write about all my different topics and random interests over the last couple of years. But really excited to have you on because I definitely want to pick your brain about some of the health and the fitness stuff and your unique philosophy because I know it's different than a lot of other like general health or fitness coaches are. But I'll let you mostly introduce yourself. But thank you for coming on here today, Ashley.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Hmm.
Yeah, just to introduce myself. I live in New Zealand, first of all, which is pretty cool. I'm from Canada, so hence the accent, which is kind of a hybrid now at this point between Canada and New Zealand. So, a bit of both.
Awesome.
But I play ice hockey down here. So, I play for the New Zealand team, which is pretty cool. We've got, yeah, world champs coming up in about 7 weeks. So, lots of time on the ice for me down here. And then I'm also an online health and fitness coach. So that's what I do most of the time is just helping people with all sorts of stuff, but mainly most of the time it's like weight loss and just general like habits, routines, getting into, a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. Like a lot of it, which I'm sure we'll get into, is like not just, I want to lose 30 pounds, but it's like I want to create a lifestyle and the habits that will keep me there and will keep me healthy for a really long time. So that's kind of just my whole life is just kind of health and fitness. It's always been my passion. And yeah, that's why I play hockey. I just did my first high rocks race on the weekend as well, just because I love fitness. So it's really cool to be able to also do it as my job now as well. And yeah, that's how we met, was just through Twitter and mutual connections on there, posting social media content.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love that you apply it to hockey. I wrote a post and made a YouTube video a couple weeks ago. It was like so many health people just do it just to do it. Like they don't apply themselves to anything. And like from there you're not gonna get results that you want. Like there's got to be some purpose. And yeah, for a lot of people that may be weight loss, but what's behind that? Like why do you want weight loss? Maybe so you can feel good all day long and do your hobbies, or so you can run around with your children or grandchildren later. Or for me, that was like, I want fitness so that I can like be at my peak performance, like creating and writing and doing podcasts and things like that. And like you found that your like purpose is like you have hockey. Like you're not just doing fitness, being healthy just for that. It's like this can all be applied right directly to hockey, which is sounds like it's a pretty like positive feedback loop, like pretty immediate too. It's like you're trying something different. How do you perform on the ice? Maybe you could try something different, and you get that feedback immediately. And that's why I think that having a purpose behind it is so powerful. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, not last winter, maybe it was, I don't know. My friend was like, "Hey, we could do a pond hockey league. Are you in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds so awesome." And I was like, "Okay, I gotta get back in the gym now." And I started working out, like hitting legs like twice a week or something like that. And then a week or two later, he called and was like, "I missed the sign up deadline. Like we don't have a team." And I'm like, "Dang." And then literally from there, like not consciously, but I didn't hit the gym as hard. I was just kind of going through the motions and stuff. And it was so funny to have that prime example of like I had a goal, I had a reason, and then suddenly I was putting the effort there, and then I lost it, and the effort kind of fell off. And it's super cool that that like relates to hockey. But I'm curious, like, what is your connection between the two? How does that work well for you?
I think, yeah, like exactly what you've just said. I think having something, and like for most people, it's not going to be something like a sports goal or like a
Yeah.
performance goal. But like I know for me, like I just said, like I just did a high rocks race on the weekend, and like I've never done like a race before, any sort of thing. Like I've always just played hockey, and like just
What
having
is
that.
that?
So it's like the new fitness craze. So it's like an endurance sport. So essentially
Okay.
there's 8 fitness stations and you do a 1 kilometer run before that. So it's skier, sled push, sled pull, burpee broad jumps, the row erg. um, farmer's carry, lunges, and then wall balls. And you do a 1K run
Mm.
before each of those. So it was quite new. Obviously, I am familiar with the gym, which is why I wanted to do it because I just like, I do love working out. So I was like, this is just like a big workout. But as soon as that date was set, it was like, I was so motivated to train. Like, I already, like, I love training. I'm already pretty motivated. But like, having that date in the calendar was just incredible motivation. And then, yeah, that finished 2 days ago. Now we've got ice hockey world champs 7 weeks out. So again, it's like I have a date, I know when I'm leaving. And now I'm just like so motivated to get like hockey fit. So I think having something like that, like you said, just makes it so much easier to stay motivated. And like for most people, yeah, like I said, it's not a sports goal, but there is a deeper why behind it. For a lot of people, it is their kids or like their grandkids. They want to be around for their kids and their grandkids. They want to be able to play with them, get on the floor with them, that sort of thing. And like for some people, it's also just like a health thing. They saw their parents with their declining health and not being able to look after themselves, or they fall and break a hip or whatever it is, and they don't want that to be them. So I think connecting to that deeper why is huge for motivation, because I think that's the biggest thing people struggle with, is just staying consistent with something. So if you have something that makes you want to actually do it, you're going to be way more consistent with it.
Yeah, certainly. I've seen it feels like systems are a big part of what you do, just from seeing like client results and stuff that you've screenshotted and posted and things like that. It always feels like it's like some system that's helping carry them through. Like, what do those systems look like usually?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of systems. Again, just to like make things simple. I think it's just like it can be so complicated, or people think it's complicated, and that's like why they don't do things and they don't stick with things very long. But as soon as it's a system, like everything becomes automatic. So I was thinking about it today actually when I was making breakfast. Like I eat like the same thing every single day, and I know a lot of athletes especially do just eat the same thing every day because it works for them. Their body feels good with it. You don't have to think about it. I know what groceries to buy every single week. So just even a system like that, like 2 to 3 breakfasts that you
Mm.
rotate through, same with lunches, maybe dinners as well. Like that can just make nutrition really easy. So I try to do that with my clients, is like we just need to make it simple, make a system. Like I have my meals planned out on Mondays, and then I get groceries Mondays and Thursdays. And it's just like every week I know if it's Monday, I need to do a grocery order. If it's Thursday, I'm doing another grocery order. So systems like that, yeah, they just make it easy, and you can do it with everything. Like I know a lot of my clients like to work out in the morning just because it's easier than trying to work out later in the day. So if you just have the system of working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning before work, you don't even have to think about it. Like if tomorrow's Monday, get your gym gear ready and then you'll be going in the morning. So making it easy for yourself is definitely the way to go. Again, just coming back to that consistency, you're going to be way more consistent if it's easy and just part of your normal routine.
Yeah, certainly. And I found that anything, anybody beginning in anything, like it's just start with consistency, and that always comes from systems. And I find it as a little bit of a game. I'm like, okay, how can I do this? How can I like make this sound like just make it fun? It's like I recently started eating a little bit differently to like just focusing more on like metabolic health and stuff. Um and I was like, okay, how can I make this fun? And it's like I literally like imagine it as like a video game with my energy levels, and I'm like, okay, I eat this thing and my energy bar goes up, and then I do this task and it goes down a little bit, and then I take these two supplements that work good together, and then I eat this meal with it and it goes way up again. I'm like, it sounds so silly, but it's like that's how I imagine it sometimes. And it's like, yeah, this suddenly becomes so fun, and it's not really been super hard for me. Like it's just an added like little gamified benefit. But yeah, just really making it fun, because then you'll stay consistent with it, because you're not doing something because it's hard work or because you'll get healthy. You're doing it just because it's fun, because you like it. And then you get dopamine flowing and you're like, I'm doing this forever and ever and ever and ever. And then, yeah, really just finding some fun behind it. I
Yeah.
really like that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I think that's why it's cool I get to do what I do, because I find all of this really fun. Like I had someone say to me the other day that like I overthink things, and I'm like, I'm not overthinking it. I just like this is fun for me. I love playing
Hmm.
around with things. Like, for example, next week we have fitness testing for the ice hockey national team, and one of them is like the yo-yo intermittent recovery test. So it's like a running fitness test. And I was thinking like, how can I get better than I got last time, and like just coming up with strategies about like how to practice it, how to get better. And yeah, someone was like, I think you're overthinking it. Like, just go out and run. I'm like, but this is fun. Like, I like thinking, like, how can I get a little bit better? Like, what could I do to make myself a little bit better? So I think having that playful attitude as well can help. Like, it doesn't have to be serious. Obviously, health is serious, but try to make it fun and just play around with it. Like, I've tried so many different diets, like, so many different training methods, supplements. Like, I have a ridiculous amount of supplements in my house just because I like to try stuff. Like, just play around with it and then you find what works for you too.
Hmm. How much like experimenting do you do, and what does your like experimenting process look like? I guess if you could put it into like one category, one system, I guess.
I think I definitely experiment less than I used to. When I was like, 20 years old, I had like tons of time and mental bandwidth to just experiment with everything.
Hmm.
And I'm glad I did. Like, I'm glad I spent a good chunk of my 20s, especially my early 20s, just playing around with, yeah, like supplements, different diets. Like, I was keto for, I think, like 2 years. And yeah, just like, trying it, seeing how I feel, seeing if it works for me, figuring out what doesn't work. And I think people should do that more. I actually talk about that with my clients a lot is like, I can't always tell them what's going to be best for them. A lot of the time, they just need to try different things and see how their body responds. Like, some people do better with more carbs, some people do better with more fats. And I can't really tell you what your body's going to respond to. So I think you do have to play around with it a little bit. But in terms of what I experiment with now, definitely supplements, although I'm trying to like cool off on that just because I have so many
Yeah.
supplements because it's so fun. Because you read on Twitter, they're like, I don't
Yeah.
know, vitamin B6 is good for this. And I'm like, oh, I better get some B6 and try this. But then you're taking like 50 supplements. So I'm like, I actually need to figure out what matters right now. Like, what are my goals right now? And try to just focus on that. But yeah, some other stuff I'm experimenting with now actually is more like sort of like fascia, like learning about fascia, learning about like the lymph system, which is actually like later today I'm going to get a lymphatic massage just to like see what happens. Again, it's like an experimental thing. I've never had it before. I have started doing some like at home lymphatic work with like dry brushing and just different techniques like that. But I'm like, I'm just going to go see and maybe it'll make me feel really good and I'll keep doing it, or I won't notice anything and I'll not do it. So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm going to do after this. I've just kind of been exploring that more and just like the whole like fascia system in the body. And again, it's kind of just like fun. Like, I'm just learning so much. I think if people just take a curious approach to their health, it can actually be quite fun. Like, I don't really know much about fascia. Like, I have a general understanding, but I'm learning about it because I think that could be a cool, like, next level unlock. Like you said, it can be like gamified.
Yeah, that's where I do see that being like a phase that I go through. Like not right now, but I know that I'm aware of it and I'm like, okay, I see that in my future is learning deep about the lymphatic system and like yeah, I'm pretty much where you're at. Like I don't really know anything. I do like the some gua sha face massage and some like on my upper body, but I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I just see a video and I copy it. But yeah,
Exactly.
it is really fun to just like explore. And I think like people like you and I and Noah Ryan's a big one that comes to mind is like, okay, what's going on with my body? And like, why is this happening? How can I
Yeah.
make this better? What's preventing it? Like, knowing every little thing and just needing to dive into it is so much fun. And I get like, not everyone's like that. Like, not every client is gonna want to know
Yeah.
every single topic. And well, and then that's what we're for. It's like, okay, you come to us, we could just tell you, get you the results. But yeah, it's like really, really fun. And then if you are called or if you're curious at all, like go all in, find out everything you can about it just because it's interesting. Like it doesn't all have to benefit you, I think. Like even if like it ends up for you that the like fascia and lymphatic system and the drainage and things, maybe that doesn't get you results, even though it's gotten other people crazy results, but you'll still know about it. It's still something that you've learned about you could come back to or recommend, but like it doesn't have to be for like, oh, this is for my health. It can just be like I'm just really curious about this and I like doing it. So I
Yeah.
think I'm trying to think of something that I've kind of experimented with lately. Mine has been like training. I got really burnt out of the gym like a year and a half ago maybe. I was like, I don't want to be under the blue light all the time. I'm doing the same workouts for a year plus now. Like I was kind of seeing results and stuff, but I was like, I don't know, it just got boring. So I literally canceled my membership and I was like, I'm just gonna do like calisthenics and stuff at home and work out outside. And then that didn't end up happening because I never set time for it. Like the gym is like you're in a place and you're like, hey, I'm in workout mode, but I didn't have that at home. And last month I was like, okay, this is actually something that I'm just curious about. What can I do that is like minimalist? Can I fit an entire workout into 20 minutes with a kettlebell and dumbbells and a resistance band and body weight? It was like that's all I have. Do it in my bedroom. And I found that like I'll just put on a podcast or like an audiobook or YouTube video or something like that. Um, and I'll just mess around. Like I'm not following anything. I'll jump around weird, like throw around a kettlebell. I don't even know. I don't even have names for these workouts, but I'm just moving my body, really seeing how that feels. And like yes, I'm not going to get the most benefits from it if I was just lifting weights, but I'm getting to move my body in different ways and I'm really enjoying that, having fun doing it and just figuring things out. Like that is good enough for me where like I don't need to build all the muscle right now or I don't need to get extremely lean right now or anything like that. But I found that's come in like silly little challenges like okay, if I balance on the toe of my foot and hold a kettlebell straight up, how long can I do that? And then I'd get so like sucked into that and I do it switch feet, switch foot and see if I could do it again and again and again. Um and that's just one example, but for me it's been like little just dumb challenges that I create in my head while I'm just in the bedroom. Like I usually dedicate some workout time a little bit before lunch for like 30 or 45 minutes. And that's what I do. And I just have so much fun doing that. And I guess the point of me saying that is like I don't get the greatest results that I could, but that's what's just intriguing to me and that's what I'm having fun doing right now. And I'm sure that'll change maybe in a month or two, but that's what I'm doing, so that's what's gonna work because that's just naturally like capturing my attention.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. Like I tell my clients that too, that like good enough is better than optimal because most of us,
Hmm.
like unless you're a professional full-time athlete, then obviously you want to be optimal. But for most of us, it's just not going to work long term. You know, you could follow the optimal program for you for a week, maybe like 6 weeks if you're really dedicated to it. But then after that, you're going to fall off. So I always say like we're not trying to be perfect. It's like, what do you enjoy? What are you actually going to be able to stick with? And then we'll do that because something's better than nothing. So, like, you doing that is way better than you doing nothing, even if it's not necessarily the perfect thing to be doing.
Hmm. And it's like I'm having fun doing it. Like I'd rather do that than be bored through a traditional lift or going
Yeah.
for a run. I hate running right now. I'll say I hate running right now because maybe I'll enjoy it later. I'm not gonna say I hate running forever and ever. You know, so that's another aspect of it too. But I'm curious, how do you keep training fun for yourself? Because you've done it a long time, so I'm sure a lot of different things have come up and gone away and things like that.
I think it's the same thing, like you just said, like, I think not committing to any one style of training. Obviously, you know, hypertrophy bodybuilding style training is good and building muscle is really good. And I did that for a really long time with obviously some conditioning thrown in for hockey. But I think just, yeah, like playing around with it. Like one of the things that I did was when I had a concussion, I think, I can't remember when that was, maybe like a year or so ago, and I couldn't do as much working out. I did a lot more mobility and like working with weights through a really full range of motion, which Noah Ryan talks about a lot. Like his mobility's insane. So like just kind of stuff like that, you know, doing mobility drills but with a kettlebell or something. And the amount of mobility I gained was just crazy. And that was fun because it was like brand new and lots of things like yeah, like chin-ups, like push-ups, like just working through different ranges of motion than like a traditional gym, you know, bodybuilding style program. So I think like that was good. And then obviously what we talked about with when I have a goal or like a deadline, that really helps as well. And with this high rocks training, like you said, like hate running. I always hated running. And then I was like, I'm just going to try running. So in July last year, I just like started running and now I actually really enjoy it now that I've actually learned how to run. So running for me isn't even helpful. Like for hockey, we are on the ice for like 45 seconds, maybe a minute, and then you're off for a couple minutes. So like steady state endurance work is not helpful for me at all. But like I'm enjoying it. I really enjoyed all the work up leading up to the high rocks. Like I really liked that endurance, like muscular endurance, cardiovascular endurance work that I've never done before. And I think I enjoyed it just because it was like brand new and yeah, it's probably not the best thing to be doing, and I'm not going to do it leading up to the world champs just because like the world champs matters, so I do want to train properly for that. But when I get back from that, like I would like to go back to that sort of more endurance style work just because it's fun. Um, and yeah, I kind of like I map out my year a little bit like in blocks. So obviously, start of the year was high rocks. Now it's hockey. Once I'm back from hockey, I'm probably going to do go back to like endurance style work maybe, and then like probably do another phase of mobility, more like mobility work. And I think just having blocks like that can be really helpful because, like you said, like it just can get quite stagnant if you're just doing the same thing for like 10 years. Of course, you're not going to really feel motivated to go unless you're like really obsessed with whatever you're doing. But having blocks, like even each quarter, you could focus on something different, and that would still be really helpful.
Yeah, that's what I've found for myself a little bit too. And I remember last summer, I believe. I don't remember, but I don't remember a lot about last summer, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's all the same for me. I was like really loving sprints, and I would do it almost every day, like probably 4 or 5 times a week. There was a couple days where I did it twice in a day. I was like just
Nice.
enjoying that so much, and I loved it. And I don't know if that volume was good for me, but I was just really liking it. And was like I got that for the summertime, and then being in Minnesota, it got cold in the winter, and I was like, well, I my gym is very tiny. I can't sprint anymore. And I was like, that was kind of the end of that phase, and I haven't got back to it yet. Um, and then now with like what I mentioned, just like messing around in my bedroom and stuff, I've noticed that I've gravitated a lot toward like shoulders and upper back and things like that. So I kind of do feel naturally like maybe I'm going into a little phase of like that's kind of where my focus is at right now. And then yeah, I'm sure that will shift as time goes on. But yeah, I found that that might be something that's like a core part of my training in the future is like just picking something. And I'm sure that I'll go back to sprints because I enjoyed it. And mobility is just like every time I hear about it, I'm like, yeah, that's something that I want. So that may be in there somewhere. And then maybe it's another phase of like really lifting heavy weights and like more traditional things like that. So I think that that like we're definitely onto something there with like kind of just pick a goal for the next couple months that's not just like lose weight or build muscle or things like that. Like what part of your body do you want to expand on and just kind of specialize on that a little bit. And then that just feels like it creates like achievable goals sooner. I don't know like maybe I don't know all the science behind it, but yeah, that sounds like a fun way to do it for people like me who get bored of things pretty quick. If it's not entertaining, if it's not like something that I'm excited to do, then I don't want to do it and I stop. Like I don't really have a lot of like push to just go through things when I'm like I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. If I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it. But that's actually an advantage because it allows me to shift and find those different phases and things like that.
Yeah, and I think just on that, like I think as humans, we're meant to be able to do so many different things. Like people who
Yeah.
do just a bodybuilding style program, like they do get muscular, but a lot of the time, like they have muscular imbalances. Like they still like their mobility is like awful. Like most of them like can't touch their toes. So I
Hmm.
think actually incorporating something like we said, like each quarter or whatever it is, every couple months is helpful. Like I like the idea of being able to run, even though it's not that helpful for me, but like humans should be able to run and like
Yeah.
mobility and we should be able to, hang from a bar. So I think doing that as well just makes you so much more functional. Like I want to be able to do everything and humans should be able to do everything. And you don't need to worry about like losing your progress. Like obviously you might not be like I'm not gaining muscle right now because I've been doing so much endurance work, but I'm not really going to lose it. And once you've built it, it's really easy to get it back. So if you go through these blocks of like building and just focusing on building, one aspect of your fitness, once you've got it like you do have it. It's not just going to disappear. Like you can maintain it and then it's going to be easier to get it again later once you've done it before. So I think it's a really good approach. Yeah, just to do a bunch of different things.
Yeah. I've certainly found that to be true. I've only been like working out every day like seriously for a month now again, and I have gotten like almost all my muscle back. Like I feel
Yeah.
just as strong. They like literally physically look bigger and things like that. And so yeah, they came back really quick and literally training like 30 or 45 minutes a day, not even that like serious or intense. So it's certainly come back. And I think that's funny that you mentioned like hanging from a bar or running. I tweeted a couple weeks ago that was like you should be training one thing every day that can save your life. And it was like
Yeah.
grip strength, like bar holds, and it was sprints, and I think it was like breath work, like holding your breath and things
Yeah.
like that. It was like if you could do one thing every day, train something that will save your life, that's gonna be. It was just kind of more of a funny thing, but like really, those are the things that are important. Like if you can squat 450 pounds, that's like relatively nothing compared to if you can squat 200 pounds in like the
Yeah.
relative to saving your life. But like, yeah, switch it up, like change some things.
Yeah.
And oh gosh, I had a question about that, but oh, I was gonna say, do you train breath work at all?
It's something I know I need to. I've gone through phases, like we've been talking about the whole time of, yeah, like I'll focus on it for a little bit. I think back in the day, a few years ago, when I was like really into Ben Greenfield's work, he talks a lot about just the breath and, doing breath holding walks and that sort of thing. But I think it's definitely something that I should get back into, just obviously for nervous system health, but I know it can also impact athletic performance as well and like VO2 max. So, I definitely need to dive back into it. I think, yeah, along with like the fascia and lymph focus I have right now, I think like nervous system health is also something I've been looking into as well. So, yeah, definitely something I need to look into more.
Yeah, that could be really cool. I saw oh, I don't remember what it was or who it was, but there was like an Olympic athlete who won like three like big things. I don't remember. This is horrible me bringing up this topic because I don't know it. He won like the marathon and then like two other races. Like
Right.
he won gold or silver or something like that. And the way he trained was he would literally do breath holds during like high intensity interval training, which sounds super intense and I would not recommend that to anybody listening. But like he would breathe in, breathe out and hold for like 2 to 5 seconds or something like that while like sprinting or while doing something super intense. And I saw
Yeah.
that and I was like, ooh, I might have to incorporate that into my sprints when I get back into it, but we'll see how safe I could do it or something like that. But I've been doing breath work after my workouts. Like immediately I'll sit down and I'll get it like really slow. Like first to just relax my nervous system, get into like the parasympathetic like healing rest state like immediately after my workout so I don't have to take like that 30 or 45 minutes to let my body wind down. I just breathe my way to it. And then like I didn't even like read this anywhere or think of it, but while I was breathing, I was like, wow, my muscles like feel big right now. It was like my eyes were closed, and if I had to imagine what my body looked like, it would literally be like the Incredible Hulk, like just big and bulky. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna breathe into this. I'm gonna breathe in and imagine my muscles like just being strong and being healthy. And on the exhales, I'm gonna imagine them just being ease, just relaxing, like not being super tense. And I've seen something like a couple studies that people who like imagined their bicep strength or something, like imagined doing dumbbell curls or something, actually got stronger. And I was like, I wonder if I could like include this while I do my breath work. So I've been doing a little bit of that, and I just thought it was interesting how like I wasn't telling myself or telling my muscles to feel bigger or like expand and then relax. That's just what I was feeling as I was doing it. And since that's become a little bit of a conscious practice, and I just thought it was interesting to share. But I've been experimenting with that lately, so we'll see. I haven't done any like testing. I don't know how to test that really, but I'm having fun doing it, and I do breath work after anyway, so why not?
Yeah. I think it's so important to do that. Yeah. Firstly, like the nervous system, but like also just, well, I mean, we know visualization and everything is really important. And yeah, I think it also would just deepen your connection with your body as well. Like, I think so many people just aren't connected with their bodies. Like for my clients, before I give them a training program, I always get them to do a movement assessment where they film themselves doing like 5 different movements. And like you can just tell that some people aren't really aware of their bodies or like where their bodies are in space. So I think anything that helps with that, which yeah, could be as simple as like sitting down and breathing after a workout and just feeling your body. I think that's so valuable because we just don't learn these skills like ever. So they're really important skills to have.
I love that. My girlfriend likes practicing Pilates and like putting on a YouTube video and watching, so I've done it with her quite a few times.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, I have no idea how is the instructor doing that with her body and like trying
Yeah.
to figure it out. So yeah, I've had that experience a little bit of like knowing where my body is at or knowing being able to see like visualize, okay, what does my body look like? If it's supposed to look like this instructor doing this wacky pose up there or something, how do I know? How can I be sure that I'm doing it right? And it really is like just taking that second and feeling, and you can intuitively get a pretty good idea of how your body is moving and what it's doing. And
Yeah.
I was listening to a Noah Ryan video earlier today, and this is a little bit unrelated, but not really. He was like, mobility is more like brain, like neurological work, and just letting your body know that it can actually move in
Yeah.
the way that you were telling it. And that like completely expanded my mind on that. So it's that connected with my thought of like doing the Pilates and stuff like that. It was like these weird poses that I was not comfortable with. And it's like just forcing myself to do them. And it
Yeah.
really does prove that like, wow, you could do so much more than you ever thought. Or like you see a stretch and you're like, wow, that is impossible. Like it's like, no, that your body can't do that. Just you have to ease into that and be comfortable with it.
Yeah, and that's good for your brain as well. Like I know, like obviously doing things you are not used to doing is good for just brain plasticity as well. So there's so many benefits to it. I think, yeah, like mobility work is incredibly powerful for that. And again, like just making it fun, like there's different like stretch goals and mobility goals you can have. Like I'd love to be able to do like a pretty solid back bridge. And for a while I was working on that like pretty regularly and you do make progress and then it makes it fun because you're like, I'm getting closer to this now. And yeah, like fitness goals can be as simple as, being able to touch your toes or something. Like it doesn't have to be, I'm going to go run a marathon or something. It can just be, I would love to be able to touch my toes.
Yeah, I love it. 'Cause so simple and it's something your goal pops in your head and you're like, "Oh yeah, I want to do that." And you just stretch out your legs just a little bit
Yeah.
and it's like that's actually working towards your goal even if it's like in the kitchen while you're making lunch or something like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be during a workout or I just I find myself like I do lymphatic hops randomly throughout the day, like 3 or 5 times a day. And I'm like, you know what, this would feel good right now, so I'm just going to do it. And
Yeah.
that's what I found really powerful about like the gamifying and setting just the little goals is it doesn't have to happen during a 45-minute or 60-minute training block. It's like you could just do things. You literally just do things whenever you want, whenever you feel like it. And when you have a goal that you're excited about, it's actually easy. You don't have to, it doesn't feel like work or anything difficult. I did have one question I'm curious about. Is there anything that's a part of your unique program that is unique or that people wouldn't expect to see in a fitness program?
I think I think mobility probably is a big one. Like, not that it's rare to be included in a fitness program, but I pretty much make it compulsory that all my clients work on mobility and like
Mm,
prehab as well. So, like injury prevention. I think so many people, because I work with largely people who are over 40, and probably like most of them are coming in with some sort of injury or like history of injuries. And I
mm,
think just working on that and working on mobility is huge. Like a lot of people say that is the most impactful thing. Like the workouts are great, but they're like the stretching is so good and they want more stretches in their routine, and they're like they just feel so much better. So I think that's definitely a big thing. It's just like movement quality and making sure they are able to move, which is why I do the movement assessment when they start. Like I want to see how they're moving, what parts of their body are kind of stuck what parts are weak. It's really easy to see like what's weak and what's tight. So, and then I put things into their program that helps with that. And yeah, I think that's really impactful. I think everybody should be working on mobility. Like, yeah, again, like look at someone like Noah who is incredibly mobile, but like he's working on it every day still. I think it's something that everyone should be working on, especially that over 40 population, because you do start to lose it quite quickly. And like I've had people say like, they can't pick a golf ball up off the ground without feeling pain. Like that's not a situation we want to be in. So I think mobility is huge, and just yeah, like functionality. Like I get them to hang from a bar if they can, and if they can't, then we like work up to that, because again, like humans are meant to hang. Like we should all be able to hang from a bar, but so many adults just can't do something like that.
Yeah. I thought it was really inspiring to see when they did like the bars in the airports and stuff, and there was videos of, like RFK Jr. like doing pull-ups in an airport like in his suit and stuff like that. I was like it's just cool. Every time I see videos of like older people being active and doing push-ups or hanging or pull-ups or something like that. Like this is really cool. I love this. And I found that especially mobility, you don't know what you're missing out until you actually do it for a couple days in a row. And now, like, I stretch every single morning, once throughout the day, and before bed usually. And it's like 2 to 3 minutes. It's nothing too
Yeah.
serious, just little stuff. And before, I never did that because I had no idea what I was missing. And I'm only 20. Like, I couldn't imagine being 40 or 60 or older than that. And not doing it because like now I know what I'm missing out on, and right now at my age it's very marginal. Like I can go a week or two, I could go forever without stretching and I'd be fine, but
Yeah.
it feels so much better to just get to do that a little bit throughout the day because yeah, you really don't know what you're missing out until you actually try it. I love that you include mobility, and I think it's really cool and really fun that that's what people like are drawn towards and that's what people
Yeah.
like more of.
Yeah, definitely. Like obviously the workouts are great, but like I think it's just because they haven't done it before. Like everyone I've worked with,
Hmm.
has gone to the gym and done a workout, but so many of them have never done mobility, like unless they were maybe college athletes when they were younger, and maybe they did it, but I don't even know if they did, back in the day. So I think it's new for them, and probably like a fun new challenge. Like a lot of them, they'll say it was really hard. Like the first few stretching routines, they'll be like, that was so hard, but like, please keep it in the program because I want to be able to do these stretches.
Yeah, they're difficult at first, but they do
Yeah.
feel so good. I'm curious to shift it up a little bit if we could get into nutrition a little bit. What is like your general nutrition philosophy?
I think mainly it's just eating real food. Like there are so many ways to eat, and like I said earlier, like I couldn't tell you, what you should eat because I don't know your body, and there's no real way to know your body until you start experimenting and seeing what your body likes and doesn't like and what it responds to and what it doesn't. But I think one thing that, no one can really argue with is just eating real food as close as it comes in nature. So I always say like single ingredient foods as much as you can. So things like meat, eggs, fruits and vegetables, obviously, nuts and seeds, dairy, just trying to eat things that are as minimally processed as possible, because that's what our body's used to. So that's what our body is going to be able to respond to, and what's going to let it, function properly. And then within that, I always tell my clients protein and plants. So if each meal has some source of protein, whether it's, yeah, like meat, eggs, it can be vegetarian, like dairy, vegan, nuts and seeds, whatever it is, and then some sort of plants, which could be fruits, vegetables, rice, potato, um, oats, that sort of thing. That's what I get them to focus on most of the time. And then from there, the body's just like kind of able to figure things out. Like as long as it's getting protein and, good nutrients, good fiber, real foods, that's really all we need to work on. Like that's what I do. I don't count calories at all. Like I've said, like I've experimented with keto, I experimented with like carnivore for a little bit. I've tried all sorts of things, and it always just comes back to obviously like get enough protein and then just eat real foods. And that's really all you need to do.
Mm. I'm super aligned with where you're at too, because I think like the extreme diets or anything like super restrictive was just unrealistic for what what humans just historically have eaten. Like,
Yeah.
I guess the most restriction they had was did it grow anywhere around them or was it on a different continent? That's the only restriction, but generally that feels okay, especially relative to the options that we have now in the grocery stores and at restaurants and things like that. If you can just eat single ingredient whole foods, like you are going to be so much further ahead than anybody. And then maybe the specifics, and then maybe going carnivore or keto or whatever specific extreme diet it may be. That has to come, I think, after you get the baseline set of just eating real food again, because it's like outrageous how much of it isn't real anymore. And I think the worst part is that some people don't even know. They aren't aware. So I love that you listed out like the single ingredient food options because it's now, especially for younger people and young adults, I think they were just completely raised on food that wasn't all real. Like at least some older generations, they had a better idea before this mass like process and food industries were on the shelves and things like that. But yeah, some people don't know like what are single ingredient foods, you know? So yeah, keeping that just super simple because I've also found that you can emulate a lot of like the unhealthy foods or like the processed foods, you can get a lot of it just by making it single ingredient and making it at home. And maybe you're still like mixing a whole lot of things together that may not be the healthiest. If that has to be what your cheat meal is just home making a junk food, that's so much better for you than buying it at a pizza place or getting a cheeseburger or something. Like you can make an extremely delicious and fairly healthy cheeseburger if you just do it at home. Like you can still eat the foods that you enjoy. I think that's a big misconception around like nutrition. People hear that and they're like, "Oh, it's gross."
Yeah, like that's a great example, like a cheeseburger. Like in theory, there's nothing wrong with that. Like it's meat,
Yeah.
obviously there's bread on it, but bread's definitely not the worst thing you could be eating, especially if it's good quality bread. And then there's usually vegetables on there as well, like and like cheese. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with
Like how
that.
is that bad?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just
it's
how they.
funny seeing those like charts that are like it points to the like this is just bread, this is a veggie, this is a veggie, this is just meat. How is this bad for you?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like it's just how they're processing everything now. Like if you get it, yeah, not at home. If you make things at home, it's great because you know what's in it and you aren't going to put in really artificial ingredients because we just like don't have access to that at home. So a lot of it is just yeah, tweaking things and like so much like I do nutrition audits with my clients where I'm looking at like what they're eating now and I just like go through it with them and a lot of the time it's as easy as just changing brands. Like, with yogurts, like there are definitely some really healthy yogurts out there, but there are also some really bad ones. So a lot of it's just
Yeah.
like look at the ingredients list, which I get them to do. I think that's one of the biggest things is just like start looking at the
Huge.
ingredients list, like what's actually in the food that you're eating, and then just see if there's a better option. Like if I go to the grocery store, like you'll always see me checking labels and like looking
Yeah.
for like, the best option. Like what's actually in this yogurt? Like have they added sugar? Are there weird like artificial colors in it? Like just start looking at what's actually in your food.
hmm Yeah, I know the ingredients of the food that I eat more than I know the brand names of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like. I flip it over, I'm like, "Yep, this is the one. Put it in the cart."
Yeah.
I'm curious. You said that for the most part you eat like the same meals. How do you go about balancing your micronutrients and make sure you're hitting everything if you're eating a lot of the same foods?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think firstly, I always supplement with a multivitamin or like some sort of greens powder, um, or organ meat. Like I often take like organ meat capsules just because organ meat is like nutrient dense. So I think for most people, it's almost impossible to get everything you need from food alone, just with how things are farmed now. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
like crop rotation. The soils are pretty depleted of nutrients now, especially in the US. Like, I know in New Zealand, we're a bit luckier with that. But in a lot of countries, like, yeah, they've grown a vegetable and you're eating a vegetable, which should be healthy, but there's actually not that many nutrients in it anymore. So I think it's always helpful to supplement with something. So yeah, like organ meat is really good, or a multivitamin or a greens powder or something, as long as you get like a decent quality one. So I think that's important. And then I actually try to grow a lot of my food at home. So like I have a massive garden with like tons of fruits and vegetables. So I know firstly it's organic. Like I don't put anything on it. Like, I'll get broccoli from the garden. We've had this problem recently and they'll be like it'll be full of like snails and caterpillars and stuff. Like it's just so organic and I just like shake them out
That's
outside to get them
awesome.
out. Yeah. So like it's good. Like if you can grow your own food, like I grow potatoes as well and yeah, like all sorts of fruits. Like in New Zealand, we're really lucky with the climate. We can grow things all year round, which is cool. So that helps as well because I know, my soil's pretty like compared to farmed, mainstream soil, like my soil has a lot of nutrients in it. So that helps as well. I think it's also fun just on that growing your own vegetables because you do tend to eat a variety. Like yeah, we've got broccoli right now. We've got like tons of beans coming right now. And then as we get more into like winter, because it's summer right now, we'll get more like pumpkin and like that sort of thing. So I think eating seasonally can help a lot with that. Like eat what's in season now, because that's how we were meant to eat. Like you said, like we eat the food that's growing around us. And obviously, probably where you are, nothing's growing if it's like snowing. But as
Yeah.
much as you can, try to eat seasonally because that's how we were meant to eat. It's just like, and then that's you're rotating the fruits and vegetables like that as well. And then, yeah, just like with dinner. So usually my breakfasts and lunches are pretty similar, but then with dinner, I do try to mix it up a little bit. But again, I'm actually eating pretty basic, like usually some sort of meat, some sort of vegetables. Something I do like to do is get frozen vegetables and like just those mixes. I think people think
Mhm.
frozen food is like not good, but it's actually better than fresh vegetables a lot of the time because they freeze it as soon as they pick it. So once you pick a vegetable, the nutrient density starts to go down. But if they freeze it, it actually like stays. So I utilize lots of like vegetable mixes, which usually have like 5 vegetables in it and like rotate that. So yeah, those are probably the main tips that I would say
Yeah.
like I do.
That's a big underrated trick is just getting frozen, even berries and vegetables
Yeah.
and stuff, because it will save you a lot of money, especially because a lot of the frozen stuff is actually organic too. Where if you buy organic fresh stuff, half of it goes bad, not as dense, and you're paying more money for less. So yeah, if that's like anybody first wanting to like get into eating healthier is like buy frozen stuff. Don't be afraid. Just look if it's organic, check the ingredients, see if it's like an olive oil blend or something else, or if whatever they're throwing in there. But I get a couple pretty good ones at Costco, but I'm sure that they're everywhere that you can find a good frozen food. I'm a little bit more curious to get into the like the garden and growing your own stuff. How long have you been doing that?
Probably probably a few years now. I moved into this house almost a year ago, and we have a 1/4 hectare of land. So there's quite a bit of land here, and yeah, just tons of garden spaces. So I think I was lucky the lady who lived here before was a gardener, so she had a lot of it already set up, which is cool. Like all the fruit trees. We have like a passion
Awesome.
fruit vine, um, like tons of fruit, all sorts of fruit as well. And then vegetables too. And then it's been fun. Like it's definitely a learning curve. Like you have to see like, what time of year do you plant everything? What do I want to plant? Where does it need to go? Because I've definitely had periods where, I plant tomatoes, but then they get too much sun and then they just like
Mm.
die. So it's like figuring out where everything should go in the garden, how much sun is it going to get? Does it need shade? That sort of thing. Um, but yeah, it's been fun. It's fun growing your own food. Like I love going out in the garden at dinner and being like, is there a broccoli ready? There's no broccoli, so I'll just pick some beans for tonight, like some green beans. And like the potatoes as well. Like we have tons of potatoes coming in right now. So, I'll make something with potatoes tonight. And there's a lot of tomatoes, so I'm gonna have to make something with tomatoes soon. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I think it's just cool to grow your own food, like just to experience that, like it's so different than getting it from the grocery store, like picking a green bean off the vine. It's just so different. I guess you're more connected with the food. Like you planted it, you watered it, and now you have it there to eat. So I think if you can, like everyone should try to grow something. Even herbs, like it's really nice having herbs in the garden, like parsley and rosemary and mint. I think we have fennel as well, like just different herbs. And then just going out and picking rosemary to go with the lamb or whatever it is, I think is really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. I've not had the space to grow anything, but my grandma has, and she
Oh,
told
yeah.
me and my girlfriend like, come over, take whatever you want, and like talked all about it, and it was like it really just felt good being in that space, like around all this like lively food. It's so green and it's a little bit colorful, and she put in all this work and like dedicated her summer to it. And yeah, it does. It feels good. And like if you want to go at a really deep level, like that's you literally pouring your energy into something that's later on gonna fuel you. Like there's a big give and take there, and I don't know whatever the structure of the water in the food could be a lot different if it's you like smiling and watering your plants rather than who knows where it actually came from at the store. So that sounds really cool. I'm curious, what do you use to keep your soil nutrient dense? Is there any like little tricks, or is it like what are your practices for that?
Mainly, well, firstly, being lucky that the soil here is good because I know like some houses here are more
Oh,
built
okay.
with clay and then there's just like clay in the ground. But obviously, you can also buy soil mixes, which is a good place to start. And then just like composting as well, like trying to compost everything. And obviously, like I always question it because it's like, well, if I'm composting a vegetable I bought from the grocery store that doesn't have a lot of
Mm,
nutrients in it in the first place. How many nutrients are getting into the compost? But I think it's still valuable. And like even things like eggshells, like there's tons of calcium in there. Just composting everything and then putting that back in, making sure there's worms in there. And then, yeah, just like the earth, well, nature kind of takes care of itself, like as different vegetables die or whatever, they're just like in the soil, they decompose, and then now that's in the soil for next year. So I think that's a big thing is like, and again, it's just like cool. Like it's cool to have a compost bin and then put that in the garden and then know those nutrients are going into the food you're eating. Like it's just like this big cycle.
all right, hello. It is Reese from the future. From here on out, the next 3 minutes, I believe, my audio and video completely cut out. So I wanted to pop in here, give you a warning, say that Ashley just kind of answers my question and then gets into the simplicity of health a little bit, how easy it really is, and then closing statements where you can find her if you want to connect or just go a little bit deeper are in the description. So you're not going to hear me again for the next 2 to 3 minutes. Ashley's just going to finish out her thoughts because my video and audio completely cut out and I don't know why. So wanted to pop in here and say thank you for listening to this episode and enjoy the last couple of minutes.
I think I think like a lot of what we talked about today is just the simplicity of everything and like how it can be simple. Like I think for me especially in what I do with my clients is like being healthy just comes back to like being a human. Like I said, like gardening, hanging from a bar, whatever it is, moving, eating real food, like you're gonna be healthy if you live how humans are supposed to live. Like be awake when the sun is up as much as you can, go to bed when it's dark out, live in alignment with natural rhythms. I think that's kind of been my goal from the start is just making health accessible for everyone. I think people think it's complicated and it can be complicated. Like you and I've talked about, we can make it as complicated as we want. And for me and you, it's really fun to do that sometimes. But if you don't want it to be complicated, like just stick to the basics, be a human and your body will essentially do the rest for you. Yeah, exactly. Like the body knows how to take care of itself. Like it knows, how to heal, how to sleep, how to be healthy, but we just have to make sure we're giving it the right signals and messages and, environment to be able to do that. I think Twitter is still my biggest platform, so Twitter and then LinkedIn as well. I'm kind of everywhere, a little bit on YouTube, need to do more, but yeah, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, I think that's it. But yeah, just search on social media and I should come up. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.